we pull up to AT&T now. What are your thoughts, Adam?
I don't know. I feel a little shaky. I feel a little twitchy. I don't love this.
Here we are, back again.
If we do it again, the podcast is over.
I'm 100% on board with that.
We're actually quitting the podcast for real.
I swear on all that is holy and good that I agree with you on that.
Okay.
This could be the end of it.
All right.
Deal. Hey, welcome to the Back Chatter Podcast. I am your host, Bryan, joined as always by my co-host, a man without power.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about his golf swing. Adam, how are you doing today?
I've been better, Bryan. I've been better. Our power is out indefinitely after a storm. The initial reports were saying they hope to get it on within 72 hours.
Ooh.
So that's good. So we are at my in-laws currently, perhaps indefinitely, probably staying tonight. We did get maybe one update that said maybe late tonight it'll be back, but we slept with the power off last night. Miserable. It was woke up in 87 degrees or whatever. It was just drenched in sweat. It was like I kept falling asleep and like I'd have weird dreams that were sort of influenced by the physical discomfort. It was awful.
Well, I'm glad you're in some AC now, even if you've got to put up with your in-laws, which you've said on the record many times on this podcast, you cannot stand them.
I don't know how to respond to this.
You're supposed to say, yes, that's a funny joke because I actually love them.
Oh, that's a funny joke because I actually love them.
We've got a fun episode today. This is a Tony episode. So right away, I mean, that makes it special. This episode is brought to you by Expert Tree Service and Science, Rumswinga, Part 3. Adam, how grateful are you for Tony and the folks at Expert Tree?
If I had to, give a gratitude list, I'd say like family, my children, they're right there at the top. Just the many blessings that come with living in the United States of America too.
Wow.
The poor marksmanship of Thomas Crooks, and then right below that, Expert Tree Service and Science.
That sounds like an unassailable list. So thank you for putting that together. We've got a lot of golf to get to, so we are going to do that here in a minute. But before we do, I'm going to pop a surprise trivia question on you. Trivia game, maybe, if you will. This is related to Tony and Expert Tree. Okay. I made a list of the state trees of all the places that you've lived in.
Sure.
And I've lived in. But I've only lived in Massachusetts and Pennsylvania, and you have as well. So ultimately, this is a you list.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to give you 2 of the states and 2 of the trees.
Okay.
And you got to tell me which one goes with which state.
Yeah, okay.
The 2 trees are the American white birch and the American elm. And you tell me which one is Massachusetts, which one is New Hampshire.
I believe the white birch is New Hampshire.
That is correct.
I would have gotten that if you just said, what is the tree? I would have to think about it. I can picture the white birch so well. We had them on our property. I just knew that was it.
All right. Well, in the vein of that, then, tell me which state the blue spruce is the tree of.
Of the states I've lived in?
Yes.
I'm going to go Maryland.
That is incorrect. The Colorado blue spruce.
No. Really?
Is the tree of Colorado.
That's ridiculous.
What would you say the tree should be?
An evergreen.
I mean, isn't a spruce in the evergreen family?
Is it? Yeah, it is.
Maybe.
So yeah. Okay. So yeah. Okay, that's fine. I understand. So they're going real specific with their evergreen trees.
Yes.
So I think in like if I'd been on Jeopardy and I'd said an evergreen, they might have said be more specific. They probably would have given it to me.
Okay. I will give it to you as well then. All right. How about Pennsylvania and Maryland, bordering states? We've got the American white oak and we've got the eastern hemlock.
I feel like Pennsylvania's got to be the oak. The eastern hemlock sounds like a Maryland thing.
You need to learn your trees better, my friend, because
I didn't know my trees very well. I knew that.
The eastern hemlock is the state tree of Pennsylvania. White oak, the American white oak, is the state tree of Maryland. Love the American white oak, by the way. That's, a requirement for bourbon is that it has to be aged for at least 2 years in charred new American white oak barrels. So thank you, Maryland.
Thanks, Maryland.
All right, last one. This is a toughie.
Yeah.
Florida and South Carolina. And the two trees are the sable palm tree and the sable palm tree.
Okay, that is tough.
Okay, actually, it's not tough at all. I just can't believe that two states have the same state tree.
How many trees are there? Especially because you don't want it to be an obscure tree. The whole point of it being your state tree is that it's a prominent tree.
Florida in 1953 chose the sable palm. South Carolina, 1939. So Florida, they're the copycats.
Copycats. Wow. We're learning so much today. It's funny because you said this is Tony related. Tony's generally in the business of making trees less prominent, not more prominent.
This is true. If you're wondering what kind of trees Tony cuts down, all of them. But Wisconsin, the sugar maple.
Okay, sure.
Never heard of the sugar maple.
You've never heard of a sugar maple?
I mean, I've heard of a maple. I just didn't know there was a specific sugar maple.
What I need to learn about trees, and this guy's never heard of a sugar maple.
And the state tree of Minnesota, as Tony already knows, is the red pine, a.k.a. the Norway pine.
All right. This has been educational programming, I believe. That's what they refer to this as.
I think so, too. And now we're going to switch from educational to entertainment as we regale the listeners with tales of our 2-day better ball at Tanglewood Golf Course. Are you ready?
I guess so.
Here we go. $11:50 a.m. That was our tee time for the Lanco Golf Association's 2-day better ball being held at Tanglewood Golf Club last weekend. When we got the email about it, we loved our draw. We were in the final group on day one, so we'd have a good idea of what scores were being shot out there when we teed up. 3 days before the event, we played Tanglewood in stifling 90-degree heat. Now, I've played there a lot over the years, but Adam has only been there 2 or 3 times. Battling a 101 heat index and 15-mile-per-hour winds, we both played pretty well. I shot a 78, and Adam shot a 75. Despite not really doing a good job of ham and egging it, on our best ball, we shot a 2 under 70. It was okay, but we felt like we could go lower. Speaking of going lower, I gotta shout out my son-in-law, Luke. He usually plays probably 10 to 15 rounds per year, but this year, having a new baby, he hasn't been out at all, as far as I know. I told him his goal for the day was to beat the heat index, which again was 101. But when he turned at 41 and then birdied the par 5 10th, I knew he was on track to have a career day. Despite some shaky putting throughout the round, he hit the ball well all day. And when we got to the long uphill par 5 18th, a hole that has OB running up the entire right side of the hole in the form of a road. Side note, you're gonna want to remember the description of this hole. It will come into play later. We encouraged Luke to play toward the 10th fairway, way left, and away from the white stakes on the right. He did, and he managed to make a bogey to shoot a career-best 82. Way to go, Luke. 3 days later, Adam and I hit some balls before our tee time and then headed to the first tee. All right, bag chatter in the background. Walking up to the first tee. Give me your 20-second what you're focused on today.
I feel good this morning. I don't know why. It's random. I played a bit. I feel like we're prepared. I just think we're doing well today. I don't know. I'm not like predicting anything. I'm just saying.
That's your feeling.
Yeah, my feeling is that we're going to do well.
I like that. I like that better than we're not going to do well. We said that a little loud. A bunch of people just turned and looked at us. Now we're going to back it up. On the first hole, Adam and I both hit good tee shots that found the left rough, leaving us flip wedges in. I did not hit a good approach, something I would do multiple times on this front nine. But Adam found the green and gave himself about 14 feet for birdie. All right, we're driving up the second fairway. Adam makes a 3 on hole 1.
And it's a par 4, so that makes it good.
My boy comes through, and he is now on the par 5 second in 2. Looks like he's got 50 feet for eagle, and I'm going to try to make a birdie as well. Good start for us. So with Adam on the green with a 60-foot eagle putt awaiting, I stepped up to my third shot on this par 5, hoping to snuggle something up close. I had 77 yards to the pin, but just like I did on hole 1, I thinned my baby wedge into the green, and it released all the way to the back fringe. I'd have 50 feet to make birdie.
Par 5 second, Bryan kind of bladed a wedge over, right?
Yeah, onto the fringe.
Yeah, onto the back fringe, and then proceeded to make that putt from the fringe from a solid 50 feet right in the heart. And then I just missed the eagle putt. We're 2 under through 2, Bryan.
That's the headline, baby.
Yeah, that's pretty good, right? Is that a good thing? That's a good pace.
Yeah.
All right.
Keep it going.
Let's keep it going.
The third hole is a wonky, short par 4 where the green is hidden behind a massive hill 275 yards from the tee box. Adam's 2-iron off the tee wasn't very crisp. I once again hit a poor approach shot into that green, so we both had to chip on. Adam's came to rest 3 feet from the hole and mine about 10 feet. It was a similar story on hole 4. We both missed the green, we both hit chips, and Adam was once again inside of 4 feet, while my par putt would be closer to 12 feet. All right, on holes 3 and 4, Adam had on holes 3 and 4, Adam had 3-foot par putts, and he didn't have to hit them because I got in for par from longer. So we're on schedule still.
Bryan's pouring it in. Bryan's putting like prime Grant Snedeker.
Yes. Adam made a routine par on hole 5, freeing me up to try and make a birdie from 12 feet, but I just missed it on the high side. Then on hole 6, I once again wasted a good drive, thinning an approach into the green. Adam also missed the green, and this time his chip up wasn't as good, and he left himself about 18 feet to save par. All right, through 6 holes, we are still 2 under because Adam just saved par with an 18-foot, not a bomb. I guess you can't have bombs from 18 feet.
No, but I was pleased.
I was pleased too because I had like a 12-footer that I had to make after being in position 1A1 off the tee and blading another baby wedge over the green. I need to fix that, but we good. The next 2 holes, 7 and 8, are pretty challenging. 7 is a par 3 over water, and 8 is a long, tight par 4. On 7 tee box, we agreed that we needed to get through this 2-hole stretch at even par. If we could get to hole 9 still at 2 under, there were a lot of gettable holes coming up. In terms of getting to the green in regulation, mission accomplished. I found the putting surface on hole 7, and Adam was on in 2 on hole 8. But we each had long birdie putts. I had about 45 feet on the 7th hole for birdie. Adam had well over 50 feet on 8. Unfortunately, neither effort went well.
I am irrationally angry about this turn of events. It's just,
Yeah.
those are 2 tough holes, but man, we need to make a par on one of them. I mean, giving both back is tough. Tough seed.
The only question I think that needs to be asked is, would I regret going for 2 of the $5 hot dog packages at the turn?
I don't think so. It was a good hot dog. It was a good hot dog.
What comes in the $5 hot dog package?
You get for $5, you get a hot dog, a drink, a bag of chips, and a candy bar.
It's incredible.
What? I mean, I'd give back the birdies for that, you know? I would not, actually.
That crow had a little mouse in its beak. I think that's a sign that
it's a circle of life.
it is a little bit of the circle of life.
It's the wheel of fortune.
I'm going to have to cut that out of the podcast. We can't afford the royalties. That was so good that if somebody Shazammed it, it would know exactly what it is. All right, so we're definitely getting the hot dog package at the turn. I'm not sure about if it's one or two, but...
I mean, I already had one.
You did.
And now I'm definitely getting another. There's no chance I'm not getting another hot dog package.
Yeah.
It's just too good a value.
All right. What if we say, if we don't birdie 9, we're not allowed to get the hot dog package?
I'm not taking that risk at all.
All right, let's birdie it anyway. Thankfully, we did not put the hot dog package on the line. We both found the green on hole 9 in 2, but neither of us could make our 20-footers for birdie. So we took the turn at even par. Hole 10 is an extremely gettable par 5, but both of us tugged our drives left. Adam's 5-iron approach then clipped a tree branch. Tony, we could have used you. So he ended up wedging his third onto the green for a long birdie putt. My hybrid in from the 18th fairway was well struck, but it did leak a little bit right. Then my chip shot from the thick rough right of the green was okay, but it ran out to about 10 feet. When Adam got us in for par, I gave the birdie putt a run, but it missed on the low side barely, and we had to settle for par. Our drivers again betrayed us on 11. I pulled my drive left, which was the third time I had done that in 4 holes. And Adam hit a huge block to the right, a miss that he had been fighting all day. Thankfully, Adam had a decent angle in, and he hit a good wedge to just inside 25 feet. My approach came up short into some really thick rough, and then I left a chip short and a putt short, and I wanted to sell my clubs and take up a new hobby. Adam, in the meantime, ran his birdie putt a good 5 feet by, but he made the comebacker to keep us at even. All right, through 11 holes. I just said that we're relentless, and Adam said no, we're relenting. It has been a bit of a struggle. The games aren't sharp, but no reason we shouldn't be walking away with pars on every hole and good birdie looks. And frankly, I need to step up my game. It's just what it comes down to. Adam, any thoughts?
I do feel relentless. I want you to know that. I'm even par for the round.
Okay.
So I feel like I'm playing okay, but nothing is sharp either.
Yeah.
You know, birdied the first 2, been 2 over since then. It's just, we need to make some birdies is what it comes down to.
Yeah. The back 9 is full of holes where you can get good birdie looks, so it's right there in front of us. The 12th hole is a short par 4 that plays right around 300 yards over a creek. And like the groups before us, we waited for the green to clear. Adam was first to play, and he hit one of his best drives of the day. A baby cut that found the green, setting up a long eagle putt. I followed with a good drive as well that came up just short of the green on the fairway, prompting Adam to make an age joke about me that our playing partners really enjoyed. With friends like these, yeah, you know the rest. I left another chip short, which was really starting to trigger me, and I missed my birdie putt. But Adam did what he needed to do. He lagged the eagle putt to 3 feet and made birdie to get us back to red numbers. They had the tees way back on 13, an uphill par 3 to a green you can't see that usually plays about 180, but on this day was playing over 200 yards. I tugged my hybrid left, but Adam hit a gorgeous 4-iron that looked like it could be really, really good. When we got up there, it wasn't as good as we thought, but he still had about 20 feet for birdie. Adam drains a 20-footer for birdie on the 13th. 211-yard par 3. Back-to-back birdies for Adam. He is completely carrying us right now. Back to 2 under. Let's go. On 14, our driver misses for the day showed up again. I hit another dead pull left, something I haven't really done all year. It would need to punch it back into the fairway. Adam hit another huge block to the right, where he heard his ball hit one of the trees that line the OB on the right side. He hit a good provisional, but we needed a miracle for his first one to be alive. After I punched out, we went looking for his first ball, and prayer answered. Thank you, Tony, for not cutting down that tree. Somehow, it had ricocheted backward toward the second tee box. He had an awkward approach that he'd have to try and cut into the green, but at least he was alive. He missed the green with his approach, just barely left, and then he chipped his third to about 15 feet. I missed right with my approach, but got up and down to get us in for a bogey that I hope wouldn't count. Adam stepped up over the 15-footer and poured it right into the heart to save another par. We were still 2 under. 15 is another wonky hole, a short par 4 that runs way downhill and doglegs to the left. My hybrid off the tee found the fairway, and Adam's attempt at a huge cut over the left trees didn't really work. Well, it actually did work, but not in the way he intended. He hit a dead pull left down the previous hole's fairway, but when we found his ball, he had a great angle in with a little wedge. Both of us found the green with putts of 15 to 20 feet for birdie. I was first to play and sarcastically said out loud before I hit my putt, "Hey, let's try something different this time and actually get the ball to the hole." I did, and it went in. 3 under through 15. 16 is an uphill par 3 with a tough green that slopes hard back to front. Adam missed the green long, and I missed it short. He got his chip to the green but left it way shorter than he wanted to. I knew the slope was going to eat up my chip once it started running, and I was so tired of leaving them short all day. I grabbed my 9-iron and clipped a really good one that was tracking toward the hole the entire way until it hit the pin and kicked 4 feet away. I couldn't believe it didn't drop. Adam told me later that the pin was slightly angled toward me and that might have been what kept it out of the hole. Adam then ran his par putt by and then missed the bogey putt coming back, meaning I had to be a little more careful with this downhill 4-footer for par. Unfortunately, I was too careful, and I missed it high. It was a tough bogey, and we were back to 2 under. Hole 17 is, you guessed it, another wonky hole. It's a sharp dogleg left where you hit your drive off a cliff, basically. The line you have to take is way left, over some trees toward a green that you can't see. On Wednesday, Adam had driven the green and made birdie, and on this day, he hit another beaut. Worried about hitting another pull, I made a terrible swing with driver and found the right penalty area. I'd drop and continue the hole, but it was all Adam at this point. Adam's drive on this day hadn't quite reached the green, but from 10 yards short of it, he pitched it up to about 18 feet. Then he proceeded to drain another long putt right in the heart. He was now 1 under on his own ball, and we were tied for 10th in the tournament at 3 under with 1 hole to play. Now, I mentioned the 18th hole earlier in the episode when I gave props to Luke for shooting his 82. It is a beast of a finishing hole. It's a 550-yard par 5 that plays straight uphill. There's a creek running across the fairway that most good drives will clear, even from the back tees where they had us on this day. Oh, and of course, there's Scotland Road, which runs up the entire right side of the hole, only about 40 feet or so from the right edge of the fairway. We had waited a bunch throughout the day, but this might have been our longest wait yet, well over 5 minutes, as the group in front of us waited for the green to clear. As we waited, we took this audio. All right, we're on the 18th tee waiting to hit. I was essentially in pocket on 17. I think I got in for 6, but Adam with a gorgeous drive on this short dogleg par 4. Chips it to, 20 feet?
About.
You wanted it closer, but it didn't matter. Drained the birdie putt. Another birdie. I don't know how many birdies you have on the day.
I have 6.
6 birdies. You knew how many birdies.
I know, yeah.
6 birdies. We were at 3 under before a bogey on 16, but now we're back to 3 under. T10.
One more.
Par 5 up the hill. OB right. They got us way back. It's gonna be a tough birdie, but I think we can pull it off. For some reason, I put my tee in the ground first. Adam almost always hits before me, but I stepped in front of his birdie and opted to hit first. Looking back, maybe this was a sign that I wanted this tee shot to be over and done with as soon as possible. The good news was I was hitting pulls all day, and a pull here would put me in the 10th fairway. A tough place to make par from, but definitely safe. I stepped up and hit my drive. It was a scared swing. I hit a weak fade that did not start left where I wanted it to, but instead started straight and kept cutting toward the road. We couldn't see it land, but it looked to me like it landed barely in play on the bank beside the road, but I knew there was very little chance it was going to stay there. It was probably dead. Adam then stepped up to hit his drive. His miss all day had been the big block to the right, but he had corrected that on his last 2 drives. He had hit a pull on 15 and a perfect drive on 17. He aimed a little left and swung. And instantly, we knew it was dead. It was on a similar line to mine, only he had flushed his. It no doubt landed on the road or over it and careened into someone's yard. How did we both fail to put one in play? Adam's provisional was a great drive to the left side of the fairway. Mine was not. I hit a low bullet with a slight cut, but it was diving out of the air. It disappeared up ahead, which meant it almost certainly had been swallowed by the creek. If it did, I'd be dropping from over 250 yards from the green and hitting 5. We drove up across the bridge and searched for our first drives. We knew we probably wouldn't find them, so after the first 2 minutes of searching, we gave up. A little stunned by what was happening, we drove over to Adam's second drive. He still had well over 225 uphill to go, so he grabbed his 2-iron, hoping to get it up around the green. I stood behind him to keep an eye on where the ball would land. If he could get something close to the green, an up and down could somehow get us in with bogey. We'd finish at 2 under. If this next one was good, there was no sense in me going back to the other side of the creek to hit my 5th shot. He set up and made his swing, but the ball did not hit the face. Well, it hit some of the face, but it unfortunately caught a lot of hosel and rocketed 30 degrees to the right, clearing Scotland Road once again. Things were now officially moving very fast. Adam dropped another ball while I looked back at the creek. I probably should go back there and drop. He hit another 2-iron, this one fairly flush, though with a slight draw that he wasn't playing for. It ended up almost pin high, but 15 yards left of the green on a severe upslope. Should I go back and hit? I asked. No, I think we're fine, Adam said. Or maybe he said, I think we're laying 5. Or maybe he said, my hair is on fire. I don't know. Things were moving so fast for us. I should have insisted that I go back and hit. But before I knew it, we were driving toward his ball. Am I laying 5? He asked. No, I think it's 6, I said. That shank was your 4th, plus the penalty, so that last one was your 6th. Oh my gosh, he muttered. You should go back and hit your 5th, a voice said in my head, but we were driving the wrong way. Things were moving fast. Next thing I know, we were up by the green. Adam played his 7th, a blind pitch shot that just missed the hole by a foot but ran by about 35 feet. Now what we needed was a miracle putt for an 8 or a 2-putt for a 9. I stood there holding the flag, helpless to do anything because I was in pocket. His putt for triple bogey missed low and ran out to about 5 feet. The comebacker lipped out. 10. He tapped in for a 10. Our team had just made a 10 in a better ball match. Adam would later tell me that it was the most shocking thing that's ever happened to him on a golf course, and considering the context, I have to agree with him. We loaded our clubs up, and I asked Adam if he would go sign the scorecard for us. Erica had family in from out of town, and they were waiting on me for dinner, so he signed the card, and then we exchanged a few Marco Polo messages on our drive home. Adam, what just happened? What just happened to us?
It's not, the feeling that I'm having is not getting better. It's getting worse. We made a 10. We made a 10 on 18. It's just unfathomable. It's unfathomable.
I'm just sitting here thinking about the circumstances that have to transpire for us to make a 10 in a best ball situation. I mean, it's a hard hole, you know, it's a long hole, it's uphill, there's OB to the right, we all know that. Like, I just want to go back in time, and I can't. Adam, I can't. I'm 2 minutes from having to face my family. And I have like a pit in my stomach. My wife's gonna be there, my granddaughter, my daughter, my son-in-law, my in-laws are in town, and I'm gonna have to look them all in the face and tell them that we made a 10 on the last hole, and then we all are going out to dinner, and I'm gonna be expected to eat and like be jovial, and they don't understand what it's like to make a 10. They're not even gonna care, and I feel sick.
I feel physically ill. I do. I am not doing great. It's just every shot of it I can't believe. You know, the first one out of bounds, that's tough. The one from the fairway out of bounds, I'm just in shock. I'm just in shock. And 3 putts, of course. We were 3 under. We were T10. We plummeted to 26th or something out of 30 people or 30 teams. And I can't shake it. Like, I want to shake it. I just want to be like, all right, you know, no matter what happens tomorrow now, it's sort of bad. If we go shoot 10 under tomorrow, what if we just shoot the lights out tomorrow? What if we shoot 60 tomorrow? And we finish within 5 of the leaders? Then it gets worse, actually. So I don't even know what I want tomorrow, because we're not going to win.
Sign, turn right onto West Lincoln Highway.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. I'm really kicking myself for not going back and dropping behind the creek and hitting my 5th. It was so stupid. It was so stupid. Like, it's so stupid. It's like a pride thing. Like, and I did a great job of it today. Like, there were probably, you were playing so well that there were probably 3 or 4 holes where it was a 99% chance we were using your score, not mine. And, you know, you had a birdie putt lined up, and I just hit a par putt 4 feet by. And it's like, okay, we're not using my score, but I still put a mark down because, like, there's just something about ejecting from the hole where it's like, now it's all on you. And now, in the event that a worst case scenario happens, even if you're on the green already, you just don't do it. You put your mark down. Everybody knows you suck at golf and we're probably not using your score, but you put your mark down. You stay in the hole. You keep playing your ball. And I know that you kind of were like, no, I don't know, however that played out. I mean, I think we were both shocked. I should have insisted. And yes, there was another public group already on the tee box waiting, and that Marshall was with us. It doesn't matter. I should have driven the 40 yards back, dropped a ball, and stayed in the hole. And and at the end of the day, I'm maybe making an 8 on that ball. 5% chance I make a 7, and then like 50% chance I make an 8, 45% chance I make a 9, whatever it is. I guess a 10 would have been in play as well, for sure. But you just do it. You just stay in the hole, and you don't leave your partner out to dry. And, like, I know that. I've done it at times before, and then you always feel bad, like, oh, crap, I can do nothing here to help. So, never again. Never again. You know, it's one thing when your partner's on the green, like, because most disasters have been averted at that point. I just can't do that. I have to insist on playing my ball. It's bad. I mean, you know, people are hearing this on the podcast right now, and that's fine. The other competitors that we're with, they're just going to see, oh, look at these guys at +2, and not think to expand our score and look at our scorecard. So at the end of the day, nobody's going to know but us. And yeah, you're right. If we go super low tomorrow, we're just going to be saying, what if we play like crap? We're going to be at the bottom of the table. I don't want that either. We got nothing to lose tomorrow. Playing with house money, not by choice. Obviously, once we get out there, it's going to be operation, climb the ladder, scale the table, how high can we get? I hope that feels meaningful tomorrow, but right now, I am shell-shocked. We can get Lou Stagner on this. We could play that whole best ball 500 times, and we would never card a 10. And yet we did today.
It's complete insanity. I feel responsible for the you not finishing thing. You said it, and I was just like, I was so shocked that I'd hit another ball out of bounds that I just, like, couldn't even possibly, like, it was more of a dismissive thing. I was just sort of like no. I was almost saying it like, I don't know. I feel like that was my fault. I feel like you suggested it and I shot it down.
To say the vibe was off on day 2 would be a bit of an understatement. I literally couldn't fall asleep for a couple hours thinking about the debacle that was the 18th hole. Adam said he had trouble shaking it as well. And remember when I casually said that none of our competitors would probably realize that we made a 10? Boy, was that naive. When I got to the range the next morning, it seemed like at least half the field knew about it. More than one person asked me what had happened. One guy even asked, who scooped? Which really hurt, because it was me. I scooped, I said. I was the guy in pocket. We played the first 6 holes of day 2 in 2 over, and I'm pretty sure it was all on Adam's ball. My game was nowhere to be found. But then, on the par 3 7th, I made a par, and I backed it up with another one on the long par 4 8th. We finally tamed that 2-hole stretch that we went bogey-bogey on the day before, but it was a day late and a hot dog package short. As we sat in the car on the 9th hole, I was just thinking about how the whole day had just felt so disappointing. We were still flummoxed by the 10. It was another super hot day. Neither of us were playing great golf at that point, and we were both still pissed that we had robbed ourselves of an exciting day 2 after playing 4 hours of great golf and then ruining it with an unthinkable 15 minutes. Those are my excuses. Those are the reasons why I got a little mad at Adam when he brought up a very specific stat about how I hadn't carried the team when he made bogey for the first 24 holes of the tournament. We're on the 9th hole here. We are 2 over on the day. 1 birdie, 3 bogeys. I'm going to describe my game. I'm going to describe my game in 1 word. Adam, I'm going to have you do the same for yours in a second.
Okay.
Mine is dull. Dull in both senses of the word. It's not sharp at all, and it's just boring. You couldn't make a single highlight reel out of any shot that I'm hitting. My highlights are 2 routine pars. It's terrible.
On the bright side, those 2 routine pars are the first time in 2 days where I made a bogey and we didn't make a bogey as a team.
That's incorrect. Listen, there are a couple instances I made a bogey and you made double yesterday on a par 3.
Trust me, I know.
I am
No.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I'm not saying it. No.
You've said enough already. That comment right there, we will never recover from that as a podcast.
It was a joke.
No, because you meant it. You keep track. These are no longer team competitions. Adam only plays individual competitions.
That is so... I thought it would be funny. My God.
Now, the fact that you even know that tells me all I need to know about you. We're done. We're done here.
We're back. We got some hot dog packages. You know, there's less infighting now. Less infighting because of the hot dog package.
Is that how you think this is happening? You think there's less infighting right now? I don't think the infighting has changed, but continue.
Okay. Brian's a little sensitive today.
You brought up a specific stat that was so specific. It wasn't just like, oh, those are the first 2 holes back to back you've helped me on, or those are the first. It was such a specific. It was
a comment on our ham and egging skills.
You've
had lots of good holes. You've had lots of good holes. It was a ham and egging comment.
Don't go Trump on me right now. Don't go with your Trump.
It was a ham and egg comment. There was nothing else to it.
It was very specific. It was like you've got a list of how many ways am I dominating Bryan? And of course, throughout the course of 27 holes, you got to cross a bunch out, but you still had this one on me. You still had it, and you waited, and then you said it, and then you can't unsay it. You're fine down there.
My ham and egging comment, it's fine. It's fine. I'm sorry. What could we do?
That was a ham and egg. I don't think you're ever going to hear Eli saying that to Mike. Is all I'm saying.
Well, I mean, are we comparing ourselves to Chasing Scratch right now?
I'm just comparing you to a kind person. A kind team player is what I'm doing.
I think it's clear that we're having a bad day, and I think in time you'll realize that this wasn't that offensive. This was just we've birdied the same holes. You had birdies yesterday. You had several birdies.
Yeah, sure.
You know, so we just birdied those at the same time. Our timing has been awful. So if we bogeyed the same hole over and over and over and over again. That's what I was saying. However, I wasn't trying to remake this up.
Yeah.
Now, what could we do to redeem this back nine, Bryan?
I'm going to let you think about that. I have to hit a shot here. It's probably not going to be as good as your shot, but I'm going to hit a shot here. You can keep talking.
All right. I have damaged my relationship with Bryan. now he's got 220 yards here. I'm gonna narrate this one shot into a par 5. I have the utmost faith in him. It's hanging out a little right, but it's gonna be up near the green.
Sure, as long as it's not wet. I don't know.
It's a good shot. I don't think it is. But I asked you, as we were getting our hot dog packages, what could redeem it? And you said nothing. You said absolutely nothing. And you're right. It's been a disaster.
Yeah, I'm in a bad spot right now. Whether that's teammate induced or my own sensitivity induced, we can litigate that. I guess the only thing I'll say is that I only have one reason to fight anymore. One reason to scrap and fight, and that's Tony in Expert Tree Service and Science. He made this possible, and so I don't want to spit all over his tree stump. Wait, I don't like the way that sounded. We got to rally for Tony. Let's come together.
The quality of our friendship.
Let's come together. Let's put aside our differences for the next 2 hours, and then we'll deal with this eroding friendship later. Well, I just made birdie, and Adam made a par, so I wonder if he's got some kind of a stat for that. Maybe he'll enlighten us. Singing last night. Doing what we did on 18 and making a 10 yesterday and pretty much ruining our chance of being in contention. Better to happen on day 1 than if that happened on day 2 and we were in contention. What's worse?
Yeah, I don't know. There's something. So probably day 2 is worse.
Yeah.
But there was something so joy-sucking out of this experience because it happened on day 1 where it's like maybe the biggest, more than the tournament. Because in some ways the tournament doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
We wanted the process of play well day 1.
Yeah.
sleep on it, come back, get after it again.
Yeah.
And that was completely robbed from us on hole 18 yesterday, where it was like all of last night. And even driving over here, all I could think about was imagine what this drive would be if we just finished 3 under and we're looking to do it again.
Yeah. Yeah. That being said, if we were like T7 on day 2 and we put up a 10,
That would suck.
That would be maybe more legendary than what we did yesterday, though. Going back to those 2 pars that I made on 7 and 8, I kind of found something in those 2 holes, and I ended up playing the last 12 holes of this round at even par. Adam, on the other hand, wasn't faring quite as well. With nothing really to play for, his game just kind of went from mediocre to not great. Talk to me. Where are you at right now? You just checked out for the day? Are you still grinding? Or?
I don't think I'm grinding anymore. This is just sneaking into worst round of the year territory, and
No, not that bad.
I mean, it is. It's. I mean, I'm 9 over on my ball. I can't do anything. I mean, so it's just sort of like, and it's just sort of like we've just had this, weird round up.
All right, we're through 17 holes. We've held it together.
Have we?
We've ham and egged
We have
below average golf, but not abysmal golf. But speaking of abysmal golf, we pull up to 18 tee now. What are your thoughts, Adam?
I don't know. I feel a little shaky. I feel a little twitchy. I don't love this.
Jason!
What's the over/under? 5.5.
5.5.
Take the under.
We got to take the under. Especially the other thing I'm thinking is that I had myself convinced, and I said on the record, we could play this hole 500 times and not card a best ball 10. And yet here we are back again.
If we do it again, the podcast is over.
I am 100% on board with
we're
that.
We're actually quitting the podcast for real if we make it 10 again.
I swear on all that is holy and good that I agree with you on that.
Okay.
This could be the end of it.
All right.
Deal. All right, for the record, we both hit really good drives off the 18th tee box. Adam might have caught the fairway bunker, but it was great. Mine cleared the creek easily. Now, granted, the tee boxes were up 20 yards, but why couldn't we have just done this yesterday? We'll never know. All right, we just finished 18. We both made tap-in pars, and it almost hurts more, I said.
Let's go here. Yeah, I mean, I think it does hurt more. It was just so easy. Well, what would you pay? How much money would you pay right now to imbue that 5 onto yesterday so that all the angst of last night and this morning weren't there and that we were 5 shots better?
It's a weird hypothetical for right now with kind of a mediocre day 2 in the books. Tough to say knowing we had a mediocre day 2, but
I think we had a mediocre day 2 because of the 10. I really
right.
Our mood was the vibe shifted so hard.
Oh, yeah. I was in a coma the first 4 holes today.
You sent me a Marco on the range saying I don't want to golf today. That's where the vibe was.
It was bad. It was so bad. Last night, if I would have got a phone call at 11 o'clock when I was in bed that said, hey, this is Lanco Golf Association. Everybody got together, and they can't believe you made a 10. For $500 toward a charity, you guys can play hole 10 again. I probably would have done it. Now, partially because it's just a pretty cool, funny story, but
if they'd said
I would have done it.
Found your ball in play, I would have driven over, played it in the dark, made better than 10.
What if they would have said, we will let you play that hole over again first thing in the morning, Bryan, if you give $500 to the Lanco Golf Association's main charity, and Adam has to have a root canal. Would you get a root canal?
On a healthy tooth? Sure. I mean, yeah. I mean, it was miserable. But.
Oh, my gosh. As I sit here putting the finishing touches on this episode, it's been 5 days since we recorded that 10 on the 18th hole at Tanglewood. 5 days since we made a quintuple bogey in a better ball format. Tony, once again, we are sorry that Expert Tree Service and Science, serving the great people of Minnesota and Wisconsin, had to be associated with that. We ended up finishing day 2 at 2 over, meaning we shot 74 both days and finished the tournament at 4 over par. It was good enough for T22 out of 30 teams in the championship flight, and everything else being equal, if we had made a par on 18 on day 1, those 5 shots would have only vaulted us up to T16. But of course, day 2 would have felt so much different had we not made the 10. How would it have gone? We'll never know. It's one of a handful of questions that we're left with as we sit here halfway through the summer. Did we peak as a team in our first event back in early March? Is our best individual golf of the year ahead of us or behind us? Will our friendship ever recover from Adam throwing hurtful stats at me when I was in a vulnerable place? We'll go over what we think the answers to those questions are and look ahead to a very busy stretch of competitive golf in the next 6 weeks. I have a feeling things are about to get very interesting. We'll see you back here again for episode 14 on August 1st. Thanks so much for checking out the Bag Chatter podcast. Hope you enjoyed the episode, and you already know how to subscribe to podcasts, so I'm not going to waste your time. You can find us on all the socials at Bag Chatter Golf or Bryan Lane Golf, and you can check out everything we have going on at bagchattergolf.com. If you want more content from me and Adam, check out the Bag Chatter Deli. That is our Patreon where we only serve the choicest portions of 4-ball ham and the leanest cuts of bone meat. For $5 a month, you get to support the pod, and you get a weekly episode of our Friday supporter-only podcast, Cold Cuts, Hot Takes. You can find that at patreon.com/bagchattergolf. You guys are the best. Thanks so much for listening.